Julio Jones decided to call it a career last night, and Julio Jones was an amazing athlete, had an amazing career. So just a little couple numbers if you guys did not remember. He played in 166 games, had 914 receptions. He had 13,703 yards, averaged 15 yards a game, and 66 touchdowns. His longest was 81, and he had 11 fumbles, which is, it happens sometimes. But that's pretty impressive over his long year career. Guys, Julio Jones, first ballot Hall of Famer. What you guys thought? G-Mike, you're up first, man.
Yeah, definitely. 7-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro. He's part of the Hall of Fame all 2010s team. Like he definitely did what he needed to do when he was out there on the field. He should have had a Super Bowl ring, but
Totally agree.
for some reason, the Atlanta Falcons can't play defense in the second half for some reason or whatever the case may be. Honestly, I think there's a conspiracy theory there that they threw the game on purpose.
Wow, we're going that route.
Yeah, dude. I don't know, bro. 28-3 going into halftime. Are you telling me you can't score? Or you can't stop the ball the whole second half? Like it was like the offense and defense went from playing varsity to JV. The whole JV squad just went out there and they started taking over. I don't know what it was, man. Crazy.
Dad jokes and conspiracy theories on Views from the Stands.
Yeah, dude.
This is what you guys tune in for.
Honestly. But dude, 1,871 yards in 2015. That's crazy. He almost broke for 2,000 there, and then he almost did it again in 2018 with 1,677 yards. Bro, this guy for 6 years straight he was a Pro Bowler. For 5 years straight he was an All-Pro. Bro, this guy was a monster.
Yeah, and no, I was gonna say a lot of receivers dominate with their hands, a lot dominate with their speed, a lot of them dominate with power. He was one of those rare exceptions that just had all three. Great hands, had great, he could catch just about anything. He had great speed, great separation, and then also too, he had a lot of strength as well, a lot of explosive power. So he was one of those rare outliers in the receiving game. So to be able to witness him and in my division, torching my Bucs defense for years, it was a nightmare matching up against the Falcons. But he was a special talent. Definitely, again, another one of those guys that deserve more in terms of supporting cast and also having a defense that just didn't choke on the biggest stage. But, I wish that, we maybe in Tom Brady's last year, he could have given him a ring, but, that's neither here nor there. But, yeah, one of the best receivers of all time. First ballot Hall of Famer. It's on the fence, but I think definitely as far as making it, he's I think if he got in his second or third year, that's a lock. But I could also see him getting first ballot as well. T.O., Randy Moss, as great as they were, they didn't have rings. So, I could definitely see him getting in on the first ballot. Would I vote him in first? No, but still, one of the all-time greats, deserves the Hall of Fame, and it's sad end of the career to not being able to win one.
Yeah, and I think there's almost kind of like a disrespect if you're not like a first ballot kind of thing. I don't find Julio as a first ballot. I don't think because honestly because of the ring kind of situation that he didn't get the ring. That's not his fault per se, but I think Julio is well deserving to be in there for sure among the greatest of all time. And he reminds him of like a Calvin Johnson. Like you would love to have that body size, that body control, the dominance of what Julio was able to do. And I think Julio's biggest thing was he would play so hard that he would almost get hurt. So Julio was hurt a lot, and I think that might have hindered some of his greatness. But Julio, well deserving of the Hall of Fame. I think we all agree on that one.
And I think that's another thing as well that people think, just because you're not a first ballot Hall of Famer, that takes away from great. No, there's a lot of guys that didn't get in on the first ballot. I mean, John Lynch took him like 8, 9, 10 years to get in, and before he finally got in. And he's one of the greatest safeties of all time. So, that's no knock against any player just because you don't get in your first right. Hall of Fame, people can argue first ballot or whatever all they want, but what they can't argue is your spot in Canton. They can't take that away, no matter what.
Yo, and he had one of the freaking greatest mosses ever on Luke Kuechly for that 81-yard touchdown.
Man.
Steve I brought up before. If you guys have not seen that video, look it up on YouTube. Julio Jones mousing Luke Kuechly for a touchdown.
Again,
you'll know exactly what I'm talking about when you watch.
Yep. And again, that displays his just all around greatness. The hands, the speed, and the strength going up against one of the best linebackers in the league. So like that
In history, really.
Yeah. Showcases his skills fully.
Yeah, for sure, man. I definitely agree. I think he's first. Like what I was saying, I'm not gonna say like first ballot, like I was saying, but Julio Jones definitely is well deserving.
You almost said it.
I almost did. I had to catch myself there.
Slip, bro.
You gotta love stuff that's live.